bunch. I'm not going to make the whole card for you because I've got a few techniques and it would just take too long. But we're going to use our blender brush and we are going to use a stencil, okay? And you should have a dedicated white. Like I was very lucky. I used this one with a very pale pink, so I was able to wash it. And if I push hard enough, I can still get a little bit of pink out of this. But if you want to play around with this technique, get a new one and dedicate it to just white. Because now if I put this into a dye ink, I'm going to mess up my pad and a whole bunch of white's going to come off. So make sure you have a dedicated blending brush. And so I put a little bit of tape on here because this is going to be my white pigment brush. Okay, so I have here pebbled, my goodness, what is it called? Pebbled. It's called Pebbled Path. It tells you how much I use it. Not very often, but it's a pretty color. So Pebbled Path, and I'm gonna cut myself just 5.5 by 4 1/4. I will trim this at the end, but I want to give myself lots of cardstock. So 4 1/4 by 5.5. Okay, and I'm gonna start by actually embossing this. And so I am going to take out some black embossing powder, my Versamark. Now you could do this at the end of what I'm doing. You could, you'll see. And what am I trying to say? I'll tell you at the end. I just like to do this at the beginning, otherwise I can't really, I don't know, it's just me. But you could do this at the end. So I'm just going to center that because I'm going to cut this cardstock down later anyway. And stand up, give this a good press, get all that down, pick that up. Oh, did I use my embossing buddy? I didn't. And you know what? I know this sounds terrible, but I'm going to do it again because you really, really don't need things sticking with this card. So I'll take my embossing buddy or your static bag, just rub that on there, and I will do it again one more time. This is a very big stamp. So in case you didn't know, this is Layers of Beauty that I'm using. I did this in another video a couple weeks ago. I'm using it again. And here we go. Down. Okay. All right. Now we'll take some of my black powder, and you know what? I'm gonna get some copy paper behind me here. I don't want to get black all over my work surface. So let's do that. Make it easier to pour back into the bottle anyway. And just dump that everywhere. Give that a little shake. Right. Make sure I got every corner. I didn't get that corner. And doesn't hurt to do it again. All right, now I'm just gonna pour this back in. I really should get one of those little plastic containers and just pour that in there. That would probably work better, but all right. That's gonna work anyway. Get that off. Okay, I'm just gonna flick this outside of the camera so that I can get the rest of the powder off. And if there's any extra, you can just take a dry brush and try and get those little pieces off. But that looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna heat up my gun and I'm gonna start melting this. Okay, well that took a while, but ooh, I'll speed that up for you when I come to edit. Okay, what am I gonna do? I'm going to tack this down with my temporary adhesive, just like that. And I am even going to take some of my tape here. These are all things I have shown you this summer that are, to me, very valuable to have in your craft space. All right, because that does curl a little bit with the heat, so it does help, you know, to keep it flat. Okay, so here is my brush. Here are my stencils. 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go, 5. Okay, so here's number 1. Again, I am going to see how it was that I put this on here. How did I do that? This is the trickiest part. I think I've said that before, but it just kind of is. It's always different. Okay, so I think that is good. I'm going to tape it down and then I'm going to mark it so it doesn't, I know where to put it for next time. Okay, that's there, that's there. There's 1, 2. You want to make sure that's secure because especially with the pigment ink, you're really going to be rubbing that a lot. Like, not a lot, but maybe a little harsher than you normally would. So here we go. We're going to take the white pigment ink and we're going to gently color this in. Oh, come on, stick down. There we go. Get some more. Now, by the way, when you buy your white pigment pad, this is going to come uninked and you're going to get a re-inker. And you can kind of see the light variation here in the corner. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I didn't get the ink all the way to the edge. That's what that is. So there's plenty of room in there for me to keep re-inking, but so far so good. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take this off. Now, instead of going to number 2, which I normally would, I'm going to go to number 4 because number 4 are the leaves. So, oh, and you know what I didn't do? Oh, see? I didn't mark where this went, but actually it doesn't really matter because I have my embossing there. I just have to figure out. There we go. And then I'll remind me to mark this. You can yell at the video. Make sure and mark it. Okay, we will. We'll mark it this time, so I don't lose my spot because it's very important. All right, let's take one of these. Take one of these, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the white, and I'm going to go around it. And you're thinking, icky, 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 doesn't really look very nice, Leanne. You're right. This is a process, but it is an interesting one. Whoops, don't want that to move. I think I'm okay anyway. Good. Oh, I said mark it, right? Almost. All right, where is my pen? I'll use this pen. Okay, so that is like that. I do find, and I've said this before, I find this one a little trickier to line up than the last one, which is Enduring Beauty. And I'm just gonna have to ignore that phone. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have all the white on. Let me take this off. So now everything has white, and I did answer the phone, so that should be dry. And if it isn't dry, take your heat gun. Be careful though, because your heat gun is very, very, very hot. The blow dryer is probably better. And just doubly sure that that is really dry. So I am waving my gun around as I don't want anything to burn because it is a hot thing. Okay, now you're all sitting there going, what is Leanne up to with this? Okay, so I've done the first stencil and the fourth stencil. So basically I've colored the whole image in white. And I am going to take, again, man, I'm using everything here that I've showed you over the summer months. I'm going to take one of these hand towels that I love, that I have in my office, and I'm just going to lightly go over the embossing piece so you can see it's bringing back the, I'm just rubbing off, which doesn't stick to the embossing lines, by the way. So, all right, so I'm just very gently bringing back my embossing lines. Okay. All right. So what I need to do is I need to clean these because I don't want this ink blending with what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to go clean this off and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've cleaned them off and I have a warning for you because I'm very impatient sometimes that I rubbed too hard and some of these little delicate pieces, they bent because I was in a hurry and went, don't do that. It'll still work, but you know, you don't want to wreck your stencil because you're impatient like me, so hey. All right, so essentially now we're starting over. So I have filled in all of this, and really what I've done is I've created a white background for myself to add color to, in case you didn't pick up on that yet. So that's what I've done. So I'm going to lay my first stencil back down again. And, oh, I did mark it. Let's put it in my markings. I don't know why. I feel like my markings don't work. I guess it's a general guideline. I don't know. Anyway, just put it where you're happy. Just like that. Okay, pick that up. Now, I'm going to use the same colors that I used in the last one I showed you, which is pretty in pink. fresh freesia. Can find it. And gorgeous grape. So let's take Pretty in Pink, put our white blending brush away, and take some Pretty in Pink. Can you see what I'm doing? There you go. Okay. And gently start adding color. Now it's not going to be, I could have actually gone to stencil 2 and left the white as a base. That is an option that actually produces a cool little look. But you can apply, you see I bent one. Oh, anyway, we're good. We're good. You can add as much or as little ink here as you want. I'm actually making this quite a bit darker. Okay, that should do it. Let's pick that up. Whoa, so you can see where we're going with this. Now, if I had left that white ink on there, it would have been a disaster because you would have got it all in your ink pad. You don't want that. So you do have to clean them. It's very important. Okay, so now number 2. Number 2. And we will put that in there. All right, let's grab our fresh freesia. Our next color. I don't know if I did with my blending brush that had the fresh freesia. I don't think it's this one. It's definitely grapey looking. But you know what? I'm gonna use it anyway. Hopefully it'll be okay. Do it really light. Don't want it to be too purple because that's the last step. Okay. So it's kind of hard to see if there's any color getting on there, but it is. It feels like this is not going on. I'll bet you it is, though. All I need to do is remove this. There you go. Okay, so I'm now going to close freesia. I am going to use the same brush. I think I lucked out there on color. And let's take number 3. 1, 2, and oh, that's 4. There's my 3. There we go. So you can see it coming together. This is kind of a fun way to do this because then you can put this on any color cardstock. Right? Okay, this is my gorgeous grape. Let's do just a little bit of that. Look at that. Now it's really going to pop. Now I'm going to take Lemon Lime Twist and Old Olive and watch this card jump. So this is number 4. Set that in. Definitely a fun way, one out of many, to use some white ink, which, you know, honestly doesn't come out of my holder very often. So the trick is just making sure that that white really did dry well. Now see, you probably can't see on camera, but I kind of bent my stencil in my haste to clean it, so I'm going to be very careful. All right. right? Oh, isn't that popping? Love it. Okay, one more. One more. Here we go, number 5. Put that down. Take Old Olive. My Old Olive blending brush. There we go. All right, there you have it. Isn't that pretty? On a pebbled path piece of cardstock, and you can color it in all because you put some white ink and just basically, and I probably could have let the ink dry, the white stuff, the white pigment ink, maybe done another layer underneath it, but I trimmed this up and I put it on a card. So what do you think of that one? It's pretty cool, huh? All right.